No, this is fine. Believe me.
No.
We're going to use that.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
I like the first one better.
Oh, no.
Hi, this is Steve Gillmor. This is the Gillmor Gang, I think. This is going to be a short show, so and it's not going to be on TechCrunch, so enjoy. Let's start with, to my left, from Cloudblog and Salesforce and beyond, John Taschek. Welcome, John.
It's good to be here from beyond, Steve. Thank you.
Yes, we've lost the other person I was going to talk about. So let's go to my right and the infamous Kevin Marks. Welcome, Kevin.
Hi there.
Speak up a little, Kevin.
Hi there. I'm at home in San Jose after all.
Ah, excellent. So what happened? Well, there was some sort of a inbox conference or something like that.
I was going to the personal digital archiving one at the Internet Archive yesterday, but I gave up on that today when I saw what the weather was like this morning. So of course now it's perfectly blue skies.
You were anticipating snow, in other words.
There was all this doom and gloom rain weather forecast, and I spent 4 hours driving on freeways with people who don't understand rain yesterday, so I didn't want to do it again today.
You are from the UK, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And finally, joining us in the middle is Robert Scoble. Welcome, Robert.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing fine now.
Cool.
So, nothing happened this week. Thanks, and we'll see you again next time.
Well, this happened this week.
Oh, really? What's that? You dropped your...
No, my Motorola Zoom.
You shrunk it? Oh, who cares about the... I mean, come on.
When you're
Seriously?
done with that, can I have it?
Seriously?
Seriously, it's pretty nice.
What?
Except it
What's
has
pretty
no
nice?
apps.
It's not an iPad. It's not even an iPad 2. Who cares? I mean, seriously.
Well, it's what's this week, you know? Next week, iPad 2 comes out, and that's all we'll be talking about for the next 3 months.
That's pathetic. It's like saying, you know, that let's take a boat tour of Libya. Oh, wait a minute. Next week will be better.
Actually, there are some things. I like multitasking on this better. The screen resolution's better. It has a camera, but all that doesn't matter because it has no apps. It's a nice. It's a nice. It
has no apps.
Has 3 apps. Okay, I'm sorry. It has 3 apps that they've given to me that were designed for this form factor. It does have apps that were designed for a phone that you can stretch up, just like the iPad had lots of apps. Shut up.
Well, they don't stretch up quite the same way. I mean,
No, that's true.
yeah, the iPhone one's like, it's double size, it looks like crap, whereas these actually scale up and make a bit more space. But yeah, they're
The
going
web
to
browser, by the way, is better on this. First of all, it looks like Chrome. Which, why does Google have a Chrome OS on laptops and an Android OS on tablets? Why not just call it the same thing and make it the same? The web browser is nicer though. It has
They haven't got
tabs,
anybody on 20% time to figure that out.
Yeah. Well.
How's the speed and battery life, Robert? I mean, it's got the dual core processor, which probably nobody cares about. But
speed seems a little bit faster than the iPad 1, but the iPad 2 is coming next week, which will probably be faster. Walt Mossberg said he's getting 4 hours longer battery life from the iPad than this. I don't have enough experience. I mean, I just got it on Monday, and I haven't yet run out of battery. So,
because you're not using it, I guess.
Right.
no, because it has no apps.
Yeah.
Even better.
I heard.
No Netflix, no Kindle, no.
Wow.
You know, I mean, no Flipboard.
It's
no,
not useful.
No
I'll give it a
Sky
10.
View, you know, I mean,
Can
I
you
have
dance
lots of
to
apps
it?
for
I mean,
that.
what? I mean, seriously, why are we talking about this?
Because the iPad 2's not out yet.
What's the
Well, let's
truth
talk
to the
about other.
how's the navigate on it? I can stick that
It's
thing to a
nice.
dashboard, it could be cool.
It's not. The OS finally doesn't piss me off. It's nice. The multitasking is much better than the iPad. I can switch between apps with fewer clicks. But normal people don't care. They care. Does it run Flipboard? Does it
normal
run
people,
the Oprah app? Does it run the
And abnormal
Murdoch
people
app?
really
Does
don't
it
care.
run
It's
any
Twitter,
of the cool apps
Twitter,
that are out on the
Facebook. Yeah, Twitter, Facebook. What are those? Are the apps people really want to use?
No, that's absolutely not true.
What's not true?
that Twitter and Facebook are the only apps that people want to use.
I didn't say that.
Watch
I
Oprah.
said they are
Watch Oprah. Oprah.
You're right.
Holds
I don't
up
want
her
to use
iPad.
Facebook. I want to use Twitter.
Oprah holds up
nothing
her
else.
iPad and says it's her favorite thing, and then she shows you a few apps on it. She had Flipboard on. She had some other things on it.
Flipboard.
She has her own app, right? Then you go over to Rupert Murdoch's corporation, which they have a few million people who read their news outlets, and they have an app. They don't have an app on this thing.
They have a few million people reading
You
their
go to the
apps.
Wall Street Journal. They have an app. They don't have an app on this thing yet. You go over to any news outlet. They have an app on an iPad. BBC.
But you know what
NPR.
else they have? They have a website, and that's what people actually
No,
read.
websites are not as good as the NPR app. Bullshit. Give me a break.
Right. Scoble's right. Sorry.
Sorry. Give me a fucking break. They're not as good an experience. as
They're
sitting on
better
the couch
for
with
newspapers.
the-
You were talking newspapers
No,
before
for
you said NPR.
media outlets. NPR, I have an app that plays NPR while I'm reading the NPR site. I have an NPR music
Yeah,
app.
I have that too. It's called podcasting. Yeah, I've had that for like 10 years.
It's not as nice as
Podcasting is dead.
as the app.
Has been for quite a while.
You look at
Streaming,
Flipboard. Flipboard is
obviated
a
podcast.
nice
Why are we doing this
screen
again,
and a
Steve?
web browser.
What? This
Well,
is
we're
not a
doing this again?
podcast. No, I
This
mean,
will be
I have to deal with 10 emails or tweets a week. People complaining about the fact that there's no audio only version. Here's your audio only version.
All right, so you say this launch is a complete failure, Robert, or what are you saying?
No, I think Android's time will come. They will have apps. The Google I/O conference sold out. There will be apps for this thing, and just not yet. So next year.
Next year, you think that Motorola's going to be here next year?
No, but Android will be.
Right. So Android is a great thing, and there are millions of people who are buying it because they can't wait for the iPad 2.
Yeah, normal people are going to buy the iPad.
Well, so what's the truth about the iPad 2? Now I see that they're not going to have the Retina display. They're not going to have the SD card. It's just a memory upgrade and a little bit thinner. I mean, is that?
I don't believe anything I read about Apple until Steve Jobs or whoever, Tim Cook gets on stage and shows it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'd be surprised if they pull a Retina display out of the hat now.
Well, they don't need to
They
now.
might announce one. I know there's one coming. I have sources who have been in the factories and say there's one coming. It's just I don't know that it's the iPad 2 or it's an iPad 3. And there's already a rumor that there's an iPad 3 coming later this year. So there is a high resolution, 2048 resolution screen coming. I just don't know when. And so we'll be listening on Wednesday to see.
So are they not going to have an Osborne effect on this then, where they're going to say, if they did that, if this is true, that they're not going to have the LED, the 2048 display in this one,
This
but
is
there
how
will be one
pathetic.
coming up.
This is how pathetic this question is if it's true, what is not true.
That's the
But
whole
there's gonna-
Gillmor Gang philosophy.
No. It's not
First of
the
all,
Gillmor
normal
Gang
people
philosophy.
don't even care about this stuff. They just, they're going to go in
There's
and
nothing that anybody cares about except this stuff.
Well, normal people are going to watch the Wall Street Journal or CNBC.
There's that
or,
normal people again.
Yeah, you sound
There
like
are
Leone
normal people.
Helmsley. Come
the
on.
mass market. Normal people are not listening to the Gillmor Gang. All right.
Well,
That could be true.
not this
tip
time.
of the spear. The
Trust
tip of the
me.
spear is listening.
And after they've listened, they're
this-
definitely not normal.
So are the TechCrunch commenters, are they normal people?
No,
Okay. So who are they?
I don't know, but they're
They're
people
very
who don't-
interested in what they don't like.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Anyways, you're going to go into the store. and
Anyways.
buy whatever's in the store. Most of these things are sold during Christmas, by the way. So Osborning,
15 million
season,
iPads were sold last year. Maybe 10% of them were sold during Christmas.
No, they sold 5 million in the last quarter.
Right. Christmas is
that's-
the last
Define
hour
Christmas.
of the last
That's
quarter.
30. That's 33% in my book.
Okay, so 10%. Didn't I say 10%?
30. Yeah. 5 million out of 15.
Oh, so you say 30%.
30%.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
I
I mean,
I look at the numbers. They sold 15 million. They sold 5 million in the last quarter. So
well, it's
It's going to be 50 million next
Yeah.
year or this year.
and anyway, they sold 15 million in approximately how many? When was it shipped? It was shipped in February or March.
Yeah.
April.
April, right. So they sold 15 million in 8 months. So the last quarter, again, I'll stick with my numbers. I'll raise it to 15%, but that's about it. I mean, the analysts, as John has uncovered, suggest 50 million tablets will be sold in 11, which is right now.
And that's
and of those 50, there's going to be how many iPads? 75% minimum.
Yeah.
Okay.
I shouldn't be using the word normal. I should be using the word average. And average user is not listening to TechCrunch.
Average people everywhere salute you.
The little people.
And they're all in late Wobegon, are they? Yeah.
Believe me, if the average person listened to us, we'd have real power. We would get invited.
They wouldn't listen for long. Yeah.
We do have real power, and the metrics. It's not how many; it's who.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. I think we beat the Zoom to death. What else is out there?
I've been trying.
There were a few startups that I liked this week, but
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah, there should be a bunch of startups coming out of the demo conferences next week, right? And
yeah, that's not where
wasn't demo killed by TechCrunch 50?
Wasn't it launched this week?
Launch was this week. Yeah.
It's launches this week, demos next week.
Yeah, my favorite company there was Green Goose, which is makes accelerometers that go in a little sticker, and you can put them on things like pill bottles or whatever, and you can sense whether your grandma is taking her pills, because she'll open the bottle up and run the accelerometer. That was pretty cool. I could see using that for a bunch of things, drinking games at South by Southwest, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, you could buy one and leave it down there, and then just come back every year and visit it. What else?
Consumer Reports just came out with that Verizon iPhone issue.
What, you mean there's a gap and it doesn't work?
Yeah, it's basically the same story as on AT&T.
That really demolished the iPhone 4 on AT&T, didn't it? Not.
Well, Verizon, didn't meet their numbers. I guess. I mean, that's the speculation. I don't think anyone's actually put out the real numbers for it. But the rumors are that Verizon missed on its launch date for its projections.
Right, because average people didn't care about the
average
drop calls. I use drop calls to my advantage, frankly. Oh, I'm sorry. It just went dead suddenly.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was great talking to you.
Plausible deniability. Yeah.
Hear you.
Yeah.
Four bars on Verizon, 2 on AT&T. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're on the moon. Moon Bay.
Verizon works on Devil's Slide. AT&T doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, birds can fly around there, but nothing else. I mean, isn't that blocked off? It has been for years.
You can drive across it.
You can drive it, yeah. The tunnel's not open yet. When is the tunnel? The tunnel's opening this year, right?
Something like that.
Average people who take Route 1 down the coast report. Okay, Robert.
Oh,
what
man,
else?
this is going to be a punchy, short Gillmor Gang.
I told you, short and not to the point.
Oh dear.
So did you get in a fight with Arrington too, or what's going on?
No, I haven't talked to him in weeks.
Okay. Well, you said it's not going to be on TechCrunch just because it's short and to the point. And
No, this
this
is
week.
a little behind the scenes problem with a guest.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I still have last week to catch up to on YouTube, so I'm going to spend my uploading time on YouTube this week.
What kind of long post are you going to write this weekend?
The last week's wasn't very long, but it had a long series of comments.
Yeah, I love your comments.
They're not
Somebody
my
said
comments.
somebody reminded me of Room 77, which won Best of Show yesterday. That's pretty cool. It's like
Does that work on the rim?
Yeah, it works everywhere. It's like Seat Guru for hotel rooms. So you can actually, if you're going to Monterey, for instance, and you want to make sure you have a ocean view, it'll show you which rooms have
room.
ocean.
I thought you
Rooms,
said
hotel
you were
rooms.
talking about a BlackBerry app.
Yeah.
One of
No,
3.
Rooms. And it's actually pretty cool. They give you a visual view of what your hotel room window will look like, and lets people review the hotel room, and you can know that they're trying to give you a crappy room next to the elevator, for instance, and you can say, I don't really want that. I want room 29. Can you give me that?
Is that crowdsourced? I mean, are people taking pictures from the actual room and then reporting into it, or
A little bit, but they're mostly doing their own pictures. It's a panoramic technology that shows you what the actual picture looks like. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
so they have to go and get to each room in each hotel, right?
Yeah, or they're using
What a job! That sounds like a great job.
Yeah.
I got to stay at the Ritz-Carlton, for 2 months, take pictures.
Yeah, well, it's also it's
Stay
actually
in
not
every room.
it's not pictures. It's using a lot of 3D stuff as well. They used to work for the CIA, from what I heard behind the scenes, and they have some visualization.
No one ever used to work for the CIA.
Is it
haven't you
in-QTL
seen
funded?
movies that you can't leave?
All cool technologies start out as military funded, as I learned at SRI this week.
Is room 77?
Not anymore.
That's
in-QTL?
true.
Yeah. Is it in-QTL funded? Who's funding it?
I forget who funded it. Let me look at Angel List.
They're pushing a I forget Ray on Robert as we speak.
Yeah.
All right, so Kevin, what's new from you?
I had a good time at the personal digital archiving conference at the Internet Archive yesterday. That was interesting. Lots of sort of people thinking about the problems of how do we keep track of all this stuff we're generating, how do we archive it, and also archivists talking about the problems that they've had going for people who have lots of paper stuff and digitizing that and then persisting that. That was lots of stuff to think about there. Part of it was that in order to preserve something, you have to keep making new backup copies of it. So even though hard disks now cost 2 gigs for $8 or whatever, in order to say I want to keep this forever and keep copying it, the cost ends up being way more per terabyte than just buying the drives and preserving them, the order of thousands of dollars. And then the other thing that Brewster said, which I thought was very, very true, which is that it's very hard to archive stuff that people don't look at. If you want to build an encrypted archive, people forget about it. It just decays over time. Whereas if you have something that people want to come back and look at again, then that stuff will be preserved. So having a public archive is actually a huge win over trying to keep all your archives private.
The library model.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot of sort of library thinking about it there. What was the other stuff that set me off there? The other thing was the conversation they were having about the problems with hard drives, which reflects something we said last week about storage, which is that the sort of the growth of the capacity and the reduction in price of the hard drives was driven by the desktop PC market, but the desktop PC market is vanishing in favor of portable devices, and everything is moving to solid state storage, which is better and is on a good sort of curve, but is still way more expensive per gigabyte than disks are at the moment. So there is this sort of odd discontinuity at the moment where the hard drives have stopped their getting cheaper curve because so many fewer people are buying the large hard drives. And so there's this sort of step function in availability of capacity, which we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, about the difference between suddenly we're worried about capacity on our portable devices again, whereas we hadn't thought about it for a while.
We're worried about that? I don't remember that.
I'm
not worried about it in a streaming architecture. I could care less.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it drives the streaming architecture rather than the storage architecture.
Right.
What was that?
That was the sound of launch closing
Some-
down.
That was
Something
mini
about-
scribe bricks falling down on your house, I think.
That's
but,
kinda scary.
Are you okay?
I think someone next door just let off some kind of
Oh,
explosion.
these kids today, right?
um,
Yeah. Well, I again, this is streaming is dominant. I guess we're gonna have to wait until. Is Flash going to become? Pardon the expression. Flash going to become a storage medium for server farms?
Yeah, it already is. Yeah, it's already starting to be, because the latency characteristics are better.
So
But
that's
it's still
where
pricey.
that's where the price will finally
Yeah.
begin to dip, is when streaming becomes dominant. I mean, CBS just sold a bunch of their old crappy shows to Netflix, so that ought to be next week that we should see that happen.
Well, it takes a while to rip these things, but yeah.
Okay, John, you were saying?
Oh, I was saying that that hard drives actually are still getting cheaper, but you're absolutely right. I mean, it's going solid state. But if you looked at the curve path of a hard drive price per gigabyte versus the solid state, it's not in line of where you'd think it should be. It should be getting much less expensive, and I think it's because there's not an open market for it. I mean, they're mostly, a lot of these are sealed-in devices. They're not replaceable, and so that third-party market's not driving the prices down. There's also a lot of issues around SSDs in that in performance. It's still being tested out that over time the read access goes down. There's some
Is this like fragmentation or something?
it's the equivalent of it. It's not. They don't have the same issues at fragmentation because it doesn't matter where it's accessed, like a needle spinning on a disk. It's but it does lose its performance over time, and they're working those issues out. But still, they should be much faster from a read perspective and a write perspective, and also a battery management perspective too.
And they should have better longevity too, which was the point for the archivists. Because
Yeah.
the problem with hard drives is that they have a failure rate, so you always have to raid them and do that. Whereas the failure rate on the solid state things is much lower, so you can use fewer of them and worry less about raid. Because if you're doing an archive, you mostly write and then do lots of reads. You don't have the read-write cycle issues that do plague some of the solid state things.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no moving parts on an SSD,
Yeah.
so it should be replaceable. But they're still hugely expensive. I think it's $300-400 for 160. I forget that 320 gigs or something like that is $500. I don't know, but something way out of line with what you'd expect from for generally a notebook replacement drive or something like that. I'm waiting for them to come down fast though. I want to move everything over to that, including PCs, notebooks, anything I can into SSDs. I think also there's minimal number of companies making them. I mean, there's really only a couple companies making SSDs.
Yeah, when I was at CES, I talked to Samsung, and they said that the prices are high because one of the factories burned down, and that increased. It kept the pricing pressure on the high side. Plus, you look at how many devices Apple's buying up for all these iPads, and that's
Which
keeping
is
prices
in fact
up too.
the only story that we're really talking about.
But those are, I mean, that's only, it's true, but it's only 32 or 64 gigs, right? And
Yeah,
and
but you take 32 and you add 32 and you add 32, and now you got. I mean, the chips are the same. So if you're buying up the world's supply of chips, it doesn't matter. Right?
that's true.
Inside that, I have a SSD. If you tear it apart, it has a row of chips, right? So the iPad only has one or two of those chips. My SSD drive has 10. So.
All right, so what's going to happen next week? Since that's all I care about.
I don't know. There's something. Oh, Ted's next week.
No.
Demo.
I'm watching Ted.
Let's see.
Screw demo. Ted is where the real demos.
Not demo either. What's happening next week?
I don't know. I'm going to some place in San
March
Francisco on Wednesday
2nd.
morning.
What's happening
check
on
my
March
calendar.
2nd?
Wednesday morning, 10 a.m.
Yeah, what's happening?
iPad 2.
Okay, so what are you excited about this?
Yeah.
How come?
Because my iPad 1 has a crack in it. Where is it? Oh, it's downstairs.
Mine does also.
I cracked my iPad 1, so I need a new one.
You did it on purpose.
I think it's Steve Jobs has a self-destruction gene or something in his technology and his products. They seem to, start getting cracks and
Yeah, it's called massive adoption. People use it. People
carry
get
it
drunk,
everywhere
they
I
drop
go.
their iPad, they need a new one.
Yeah.
Right. There's a curve.
Yeah.
When it gets to that part of the curve, they ship the next one.
So what do you think the price is? So if it is similar to the iPad 1, except it has a camera and it has a little bit faster processor and it has a little bit more RAM, let's assume those rumors are correct.
Same price.
I think it's going to be lower.
Why?
Why
cut the price when everybody wants one?
they cut the price of the iPhone of the first iPhone. The second iPhone went way down in price. Remember, they had to give everybody a refund who bought an iPhone 1.
Yeah, that was back when there were people who still thought that Flash wasn't dead.
Well,
Tina says it's going to be $100 less. I say it's the same price.
let's say you.
I think they'll tweak the price line a bit, and they may come out with a lower price bottom end one.
They'll
But
come up, yeah.
I mean, they may come.
Well,
they may
iPad
come out with
1 will
the
be
iPad 1 might be
$49
or 150
exactly,
bucks less,
something
or
like
maybe
that.
even $200 less.
Maybe
and
even
the
like
iPad 2 will come
$100.
in at the 500 price point.
How about $100 for an iPad 1?
I'd buy one of those. Yeah.
$100 off for $100 price point.
$100 price point.
No, that won't happen. A Kindle's
They don't. They
$139.
stop making them after they're done.
With a contract, maybe.
They remember what they had to do. They had orders for 70% more than they could fill with the original iPad, right? So what are they going to do? They're going to double the number that they make, or as best as they can do. How many more iPad 1s do you think they're going to print?
Probably not a whole lot.
Zero.
Everybody who wants an iPad 1 already has one. So now the trick is to expand the market.
They've got. They're in the pipipeline. All the stores have them still. What are they going to do?
I'm hearing
They're gonna
rumors
drop
that they're
it?
running out, actually. You haven't heard those rumors? I'll have to go down to the Apple store today and see if they're out. Of course, the Paul Walter store always seems to be kept in stock, even when the stores in Kansas are running out. Yeah.
Okay, well, John, what do you think?
I think if the iPad 2 launch is just a basic iteration, it'd be interesting. But I'm mostly interested.
I'm not
in
talking
what
about your general comments. I'm talking about specifically about price.
Oh, what's the price? I think it's
pinning you down here.
It's exactly the
You're
same.
on
It's going to
TV.
be exactly the same. Exactly the same.
Same price. So you agree with me? Okay. And what are they going to cut the price of the original to?
A month or two later.
No. Same day.
Okay.
No, I'm
So
hearing.
what are they gonna cut the
I'm
pri-
hearing from my sources in China that they're coming in April, but
Oh,
God knows.
that's fine. Whatever. I said same day. I didn't say what the day was.
Right.
They're going to
The same
announce
day
it
as-
March 2nd. I think that sounds right. April.
Yeah.
When they ship. Right?
yeah.
Okay. So, John, what's going to be the price that they cut the iPad 1 to when they announce the iPad 2?
So the iPad 1, which version? I mean, so that they'll take
With the radio, the real one.
a couple hundred. I don't know, 250 or 300 off, maybe.
So we're talking.
What do you mean the radio? What?
The not the
You know,
wireless,
the 3G.
The 3G.
3G. Well, I mean, if you got a 3G one, you're
Wait a minute, I'm not
you're
done.
paying
I'm
a
not
contract,
done.
so
Hey.
what the actual sticker price is could get lower.
But are you saying something? Are you rendering an opinion? Kevin?
Me?
Yes.
Well,
No, it's a question. Are you rendering an opinion?
my opinion is that they
Yes,
will
you
take
are.
the price down.
Please
Yeah.
hold on a second. John, so how much is it going to cost? The iPad 1.
250 or 300 less. I mean, so that's almost
250, 300 in other words.
yeah, pretty much three. Yeah, I don't know. 250 sounds too low.
It was-
300 to 350.
The first
300.
one was 500 and 129 for the radio. So that was 629. So you're saying for the 629 one, they're going to cut it to 250 or 300?
300, 350.
Okay, and Tina says 250, and I say 100, and Scoble, you don't say.
I think they'll lower the price $100 for the old one.
Okay, so you're saying 500 or so, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, Kevin, your
And
opinion.
just to clear out, I think they're just going to clear out inventory. I think you're right that they're not going to be too incented to make a whole lot more.
They can't afford to. I mean, if any of the rumors which turn out to not be true about the supply problems, they're not going to fulfill any supply issues with the old version. Why would they? All right, so Kevin.
As I say, I think they're going to cut the headline price a bit, but so they got the lower. The old model is the lower level, and the new models go up from that because they're really good at the have a good sticker price and then upsell you on something slightly better. But I'm not expecting this to be the super high res one. I expect that's coming later, and I expect that you may see some headline cheap prices because there's some carrier deal because it's got the 3G thing. Because that's the wild card in this. Because if you're actually paying for the 3G, you're actually paying so much a month, so your net cost is in the thousands rather than in the hundreds.
Okay, did anybody understand that?
What?
Just kidding.
You know what I
Not
mean.
really.
If you buy one with 3G, you've got to keep paying them every month. So
Yeah.
so what the sticker price is
Uh-huh.
can be anything you like because they can stick it on the other end. You buy it with a 3-year contract and they put another $5 a month on, and they can give you it for next to nothing.
Guess what? I have 3 iPads, and they're all running off of a Verizon phone iPhone that has the wireless hotspot technology.
Right, but
Yeah, I didn't buy the 3G
how many
one.
devices do you carry around, Robert?
2
That's it?
in my pocket.
At any time.
You have Rocky carry the.
No, I carry around
boatload
my
of stuff.
my AT&T phone and my Verizon phone because
an entourage to
Verizon
carry
does
the
have a huge problem in that you can't talk on it and use the web at the same time.
Touchdown.
So that's why you need the AT&T one so you can do the web and talk.
My favorite thing.
Like this.
Oh, you're using the Verizon. Could you look up this Fandango for me for a second? Oh, you can't, huh? Well, having a problem with my T&T.
I haven't had a single drop call on my Verizon phone, and it works all the way through all my my drop zones.
Like I said, I think that the drop calls is a feature.
Oh, it is when I'm talking to you.
My point exactly.
Yeah. Just like the Half Moon Bay, the Devil Slide Tunnel. That's a feature. Oh, sorry. lost it.
Well, plus he knows I'm getting close to his house, so you better put pants on or something.
Pants?
Well, if I'm driving to your house, I have to go through Devil Slide.
Oh,
and so when
pants.
the
I
call
forgot
drops,
pants.
I'm 10 minutes away, right?
Okay. What was that? Sarcasm?
No, it's true.
No, Kevin's laugh. It sounded.
I know.
I'm laughing about pants.
One
No.
thing we didn't talk about, probably because Danny.
No, I want to pin down.
You want to pin me down on something?
Yeah. What were you going to say?
I'm saying I think that the 3G stuff is redundant and not necessary. But I know you guys some of you disagree with that. But
Oh, I totally disagree with that.
I think I.
How many of these new, micro Motorola Flax or, Faceboard kinds of products don't have radios?
Well, they will have radios. They don't have 3G radios.
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi is a radio.
I
Bluetooth is a
understand.
radio.
I understand the nomenclature. I'm using this as a way of making a point. How would you describe this as 3G without having to say 3G? 3G radio?
Well, I suppose you can't call it 3G because the Verizon isn't 3G. I say cellular. That would be my shorthand.
Okay, excellent. So cell, to make it a little shorter, you think that that's an add-on rather than the core basic model. You agree with that, John?
It'd
Yes.
be interesting to see what the sales breakdown is, if they give any information on that. Apple has sold a lot of iPod touches as well, which are basically iPhones without the cell bit.
Yeah, and that's why they always run out of battery and sit in the bottom of my drawer.
The iPod Touch?
Yeah. It's fantastic, except that it's never has any battery because I only have 2 cables and 3 things to charge. And, well, they don't ship with a cable, by the way. They don't ship with a power supply on the iPod Touch, I don't believe. Or if they do, then somebody stole it. And the
I thought we did.
I'm not sure. And the I think they ship the cable.
We have a lot of kids who steal things.
I know that. I think they ship with just the cable because it's a very small box. And
Actually, I've got my box around here somewhere. I think you're right. I think it's just the cable, no charger.
so it's always a brick, number one, and number two, it has no Wi-Fi, so you can get email on it. So every time you find Wi-Fi and turn it on, it downloads 3 months of email. So it's totally useless.
Well, it's your fault for using it for email, but yeah.
It's good as a camera, as a second camera.
The camera's good. The
Yeah.
the MP3 player is good. The apps are good. I don't know. I use it, but you're right. I don't use it nearly as much as the iPad.
No, and once the iPad 2 comes out, its usage will drop by 40%. The iPad 2 is going to be our device, and eventually they will wean us off of all you can eat, and then we'll have tethering as well on the iPhone 5, and we'll be done with all this.
By the way, Steve, this is the best gadget I've ever bought. It's a Monster Cable power extender, which has 3 extra plug outlets. You might try to buy one of those.
How much is it?
I don't know. It costs like $15, $20, something like that.
So
But
it'll
it's good.
charge iPhone, iPad.
Well, it's just an extender. It's great for when you're at airports.
You weren't listening.
And I know. Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta still buy it.
There's no little box that connects to the USB cable on the iPod. Therefore, that thing is useless.
Well, you can buy one, but yeah.
It does have a USB
Oh, well,
port for powering.
one. Right. I've got 3 things. Or
So you
4
buy 3 of these
or
things.
5.
You daisy chain them.
If
It costs
the
me
kids are
$60.
coming along, then it's 10 or 11 that I need.
One can
It's
never
plugging
have
the
too
USB
many
in the
power
car.
outlets.
It's really a problem. I go into one room and the kids run into the other room and steal whichever, cable I have.
Oh.
So it's like Mac power supplies. I keep buying Mac power supplies so that there's enough in the house that however many the kids steal, there's still one left for me.
Exactly.
Believe me, I wake up in the middle of the night and I go and switch my iPhones on my power supply to make sure that I got enough juice for the next
Now,
day.
this has been the best show ever. In the last 10 seconds, we've really actually provided real value.
Yeah, the top tip is buy lots of power supplies.
No, because they're $30 each for those little cubes, which melt down and start fires, by the way.
Well, what really gets you to buy a lot of power supplies is traveling because you always forget them. And then you're
That's
stuck
true.
somewhere. And of course, there's an Apple store. Like in Paris, there was an Apple store a block away. And so I bought another power supply. And now I have like 3 or 4 power supplies. So
And the hit on productivity, I mean, I should take a little movie of myself standing in the doorway of the hotel. What did I forget? And I haven't forgotten anything.
By
It's
the
just
way, the
completely
universal
downtime.
power supply, if you're over in Paris, they don't have American plugs, right? So now you have to buy the universal power supply, which cost me 80 euros, which is I don't know
Right.
$90.
But in that case,
Yeah, they're all universal.
I
Just to change the thing
conveniently
you plug
forget.
yeah, but if you're overseas, you forgot your damn plug.
No,
you need to buy the whole kit, and it's $80.
I took care of that at the last Loeb. I forgot to not pack them. I've got plenty of those now.
So going back to the SSDs, one thing I've noticed with the MacBook Air is that I do not spend all my time looking for power sockets anymore because the thing lasts 5 or 6 hours. So
Well, you have a new one?
yeah,
Interesting.
Anybody
and,
go out and get a new
I'm
PowerBook?
running it without flash on, so the battery life lasts on the browser too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not
Just
having
to
flash.
make you happy.
Another benefit.
Anybody get a
Another
new
feature, no
PowerBook this
flash.
week?
I'm sorry. What? Oh, the new PowerBook. I haven't read of anybody who got one.
They didn't really change anything, did they? They just cut the price
It's
a bit.
faster. It's like
Well, didn't-
2x faster.
And they got a new connector, which sounds interesting, but I've got to.
But,
It
you
just
know,
means another 25 adapters to buy. So
Did they
the
not
only
add
people who need
Thunderbolt
speed
into
are
this one?
people like me who do video processing, and I just got used to the fact that it takes 40 minutes to process a video. So
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering whether it actually speeds. If it speeds video processing by 2x, then maybe I can go back on TechCrunch next week.
the
video
problem
processing
is,
is usually disbound.
yeah, actually, somebody was it you, Steve, that was showing me a little USB key that speeds video processing up. You plug it in, and it uses the
No, it was not me.
processor on the key.
No, but it sounds good. What is it?
I forget who was showing this to me. I have to buy one and try it out. I'm not sure it works for my workflow, but
What, like a hardware MPEG-4 encoder?
yeah, yeah.
If anybody in the chat room knows anything about that, would they?
Oh, I
drop
know who
something?
showed that to me. Loic showed it to me,
Ah.
and he processed his video off his camera in about half the time as it took me. So
Interesting.
yeah, I'll ask him for the name and go buy one.
All right. So what else?
Google improved this week.
How
Have you
how
guys
so?
have you guys tried doing any
You mean
searches?
the
for
lack
stuff?
of some exploit which destroys
No,
the
no, no,
credibility?
no. The search results they
Oh.
changed the algorithm for about 18% of their.
Right. I thought Arrington's piece on that was on target, which basically he said if they're not using the data that they're stealing via various other quote studies and pushing into the algorithm. He says they're not, and they say they're not.
What do you?
He said, well, you should have read his post. I linked to it. It's very good.
Well, they said they're not using it as a signal; they're using it as a validation. Is what they said. They said they've come up with a
Correct.
bunch of signals that will detect
Right. So you
crappy
could read
content.
that. You could read that once
and
or
then,
two
and
ways.
then they were using that as a look, it's called 84% of the ones people were
Well,
blocking. anyway.
Gaddafi's is inviting all the media to come into the center of Tripoli. You could read that one of two ways.
Right, so you can bomb them more easily.
I didn't say that. But all I'm saying is that if they're using it for validation, that would be one interpretation. Another interpretation is they're actually using the data, but they don't want to say so because of the SEO gaming considerations, which is what Mike Arrington says. And I agree with him.
Right. I mean, well, the
I
problem
think
is
it's irrelevant. If they create some data and then they go look over here and they say, looks like the same thing is happening over here with our algorithm. They tune the algorithm, and so instead of it being 85%, it's 100%. And then they've done it in a clean room kind of environment.
You know what they're doing is going after the content farms that are low quality, and that's the 10 to 18% figure. I mean, Danny should be here talking about this, not me. But these content
Well, he's smart.
farms.
He's skiing at the moment.
Oh, nice. It's probably great skiing weather. But companies create these like Demand Media is very upset about this, and is getting into a fight because they create these content sites, and then it's got keywords that are SEO driven that go back into the search engine, so it kind of games Google, and Google's just taking their markup, but there's no they're taking their aim at those with their algorithm, but they can't go after all these sites because some of them are real sites. I mean, they're real content, and they're not content farms, so can't really figure out which ones are which. So they're just going after the junkiest of all of them. The JCPenney, example.
But that's helpful.
It is helpful, that's why they're improving their algorithm. But nobody's 100% sure whether it actually does improve the algorithm.
On the tests I did, it definitely does. If you go to New York hotels now, there's definitely less spam kind of results on the first page.
Well, that's great. I mean, but there's also that company Bleco that
yeah, but who's going to use Bleco beyond the
I know.
geeks?
I know.
But
But,
the
but
average
that's the
user.
same thing. Who's going to use the Chrome plugin beside the geeks? So that's the point. They can't rely on that signal because it's not going to be statistically significant for all sites.
I wonder if you
It'll
can
just
get a
give the same thing
Groupon average
as
people
blocking.
discount.
That's what we should talk about is Groupon, because that if if that's correct, $890 million in revenue, that's unbelievable.
Yep.
I mean, how could that happen from like 9 million last?
They have 4,000
2009?
salespeople, and they have a lot of hype and a lot of adoption among people who buy things.
And
I've
the world's
never
going
used it.
online. You know,
Well,
Head
you're
over
not in
heels.
their. You're not an average person, man. I told you that.
I think I'm a
Who said
below
that?
average person.
Do you watch Oprah during the day? You know.
No.
no, I watched The View. Who are you
Okay,
calling?
either one.
You're saying I'm above average or below average?
I'm below.
We'll let the readers decide that, or the viewers.
Readers.
Readers.
Kevin called it accurately before. Said that, that there's this thing called ad blindness. He wasn't pointing his finger right at me, but he was. I just don't get it. But now I signed on to Groupon just to see, and they send this ad every day. I'm like, God, another. It's more noise, Steve. It's noise. I just don't need.
You mean you haven't discovered Gmail rules yet? Filters?
So, but some people like ads.
About
Yeah,
what?
that's the
yeah.
point.
Yeah, but see, I
John's been
just
threatening
take
to
that
write this
ad
post
and
for
I write
months
a Gmail
now.
filter to put it in a tag or into my trash.
I've got lots of filters.
I mean,
I've got lots.
Groupon is just QVC done badly with email. I've said that last time.
Oh yeah. What? Yeah. I wish I want to steal that from you.
But I mean, you Robert, you have to. Why write a filter that says that email is junk? It's all junk. You need to write a filter for the stuff that isn't junk, which is average
Well,
people know.
that's called priority inbox.
No, that doesn't work. Have you noticed that?
It does work actually if you.
No, it doesn't, because I end up not trusting it and so then I eyeball it and then I A and B it with the other stream and then I go, oh, I feel much better, and I go back to just knowing that it's all crap as opposed to counting on their algorithm to screw it up. It's the random crap that is the gold anyway, as is evidenced by TechCrunch commenters.
Yeah, that's true. Too bad this won't be on TechCrunch, but well.
Oh, who says?
You did at the beginning of the show.
Don't believe anything I say. This is a spam cast.
It's all product placement. It's Groupon paying Steve.
Exactly.
Room 77 is paying Robert. I mean,
And by the way, you think you're getting this by me, Kevin, but your Tunnel Vision promo just a few seconds ago. He's promoting his own show in the chat room.
I was talking about podcasting. If you would have
Next,
given up,
Leo
if you
will
would
be
give up
over
the
here.
podcast market, then I'm happy to take it over from you.
Anyways.
Okay, it's yours. So when just start searching on at Steve Gillmor, and when they start complaining to me again, like they are, which you're supporting. Hi, Jamie. When they start complaining about this, I don't understand why. First of all, streaming is both live and on demand. On demand is this little thing that it kind of is working. How's that? What's the name of the video company that went Chapter 11 this week?
I'm not sure.
Borders?
Blockbuster. Gone.
Borders went to Chapter 11 this week.
No, Blockbuster
Well,
did too.
Blockbuster did too.
Yeah, they're trying
Yeah.
to go. They're trying to,
I thought they
get
did
to
a
the
while
border before they're stopped. Madoff and Blockbuster are in a cab on the way
Jamie
to the
said
airport.
podcasting is track. Track's coming back, by the way.
Yeah, what is this the commercial for?
Data Sift.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Is Data Sift
Track
on?
is back. It's called At Mentions, and Twitter has finally released it, and it's fantastic.
That was pretty clear there, Steve.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll dial it back a little. Get back into the comfort area.
You can't have comments if you say it so directly.
No,
that there can't be any.
I
Comments.
apologize to Douchebag and all of his friends.
What's your real name?
In his case, Douchebag.
All right, now we're playing Inside Baseball.
Not really.
Oh,
Sorry.
Inside TechCrunch. We should do
I'm
a
trying
show
to
called
get the
Inside
below
TechCrunch
average, the
Comments.
average person.
But according to Scoble, nobody's watching this anyway, so this is actually
No,
very high value.
No average people
This
are
is
watching
targeted broadcasting. It's narrowcast.
Narrowcast, right.
Unaverage people are watching, not average people.
Right.
Extra average.
And Stephen, I do not.
But that's
have
the point. They don't
notifications.
click on the ads, so how do you market to them? It's difficult, isn't it?
What do you mean they don't click on the ads?
Me. Never clicked on an ad.
I mean,
Not
none of
once.
us click on the ads.
Ever.
None of the people listening to this click on them either.
Here's
Exactly.
an ad for Rackspace.
Nobody
Click
clicks
that.
on ads. This is what Danny gets for going skiing.
How many clicks on Rackspace sponsorship?
Here's my. What do you mean that they don't go on ads?
There you go.
That's my Danny.
Do you think he's watching on his phone?
Here's your ad.
I'm
Click
saying
on that.
the normal people click on the ads. This is what you were saying. You're doing ads, okay?
So my point about tunnel vision is that when you say that tunnel vision, that's
Yep.
Kevin Mark's new show. When it has, when you get the majority of your impressions not live, but on podcast, right? So, do you have your podcast available so that you can do this 22nd century kind of thing and click on the picture and it starts to move?
Of course.
Okay, so what do you count that as? That's not podcasting.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Okay, the point of podcasting is that it downloads it.
Oh, so you're going to roll in. This is like the
But it
Dave
may
Weiner
download
theory
it
that
on the fly as well.
The Twitter is RSS. Really, we're just going to fold everything into the preceding generation.
So the
of
point is
technology.
that if you're going to stream something, you have to have enough bandwidth to transfer the whole thing in real time because you're throwing it away as it comes in. Whereas if you're downloading it, you cope with that case and with I download.
You
the
and
whole
I
thing
are in
too.
violent agreement about the issue of latency as normalizing both on demand and on disk.
Yeah.
We totally agree about that. You know, but as Microsoft pioneered with the late great Silverlight, look ahead caching, makes that difference irrelevant.
It depends.
All I know is that I don't have to re-render 3 times and then do an audio version of it and then send it to iTunes on a camel's back in order for them to put it on so that somebody can then
I just
subscribe
upload it to the
it and
Internet Archive
download
and
it so that they
put
can
a
get to
link
it.
to it on the website, and everything else happens through people parsing the feed.
I just put it on YouTube and say the hell with it.
Exactly.
Well, it doesn't really work for MP3s because YouTube doesn't take MP3s.
I'm talking about my videos.
Yeah.
By the way, I have a really killer tour of SRI coming up this weekend if I process all the video I shot.
So
Since
SRI,
we're in
is
the pitch mode.
that Paxil SRI?
SRI is where the mouse was invented, among other things, and it's a cool tour.
Okay. Any other pitches? What's coming up from you, John? That noise article? John's
We haven't had
writing.
a Salesforce chatter pitch yet.
We don't have to. It's
we don't-
It's doing quite well, thank you.
Yeah, we had our earnings
That's a good
yesterday.
pitch, man.
Look it up.
Best pitch of the show.
Yeah.
The noise. Yeah, if I wouldn't get distracted, I would write my noise is good post.
Yeah.
Today.
We've been getting distracted by our CEO and chairman for the last few weeks. Who's
Not to say that is noise.
no, but it's what you're you're procrastinating, right?
Yes, it's a terrible thing that when you have
Why don't
one
you
thing
flesh
to do
it
it's
out
easy to
here,
do.
since it will never see the light of Cloudblog?
All right. Here's my theory. Noise is good because it enables discovery. So it's people's minds are pretty much tuned to filter out things that they don't want to see, billboards, ads, things like that. And you can't equate the noise of that you get through streams, activity streams, in any various ways, Twitter, friend feed, or whatever you're talking about, with actual noise, which is jarring and does cause people to be depressed and things like that. So that's the hypothesis of the first post of noise is good because it does lead to discovery.
And then you're going to follow it with noise is bad, right?
Exactly.
Okay, then we're going to have auto redirection links on each post.
Right.
which
It'll
only
be a
lets you
5-second.
get halfway through each post before you're redirected to the opposite point of view.
Right, and then I'm gonna redirect that into Groupon, and then back, to noise again.
But you get an affiliate fee for that.
I'm gonna try.
Well, Cory Doctorow wrote a good post about this week, basically saying that
Damn it.
stuff comes round again. So you don't have, you used to worry about information overload, but now you don't worry about it. You just say, "Oh,
You
okay,
rely
that
on
stuff will
it.
come by again if it's interesting." Yeah, you rely on stuff.
You rely on
but-
repetitive overload.
Exactly. If something's good, it'll come past and find me. I don't have to worry about
Or-
missing that one little gem.
Or the number of reiterations, aka retweets, by a variety of people who you hold in, various degrees of averageness, as they, the cumulative effect of a bunch of people that you sort of agree with, saying the same thing about something, either tips it to you'll never read it, or it tips it over into you will read it. And that is, in fact, the social architecture of the web, as modeled via @mentions.
Yeah. Well, not just that mentions, but yeah.
No, I mean just @mentions.
I'm getting a lot of noise in my app mentions this week.
Yeah.
Maybe because I
But
said the word
it's the
iPad or diet.
but it's the most crucial stream, and can be filtered more easily than a hybrid of other noisy signals that don't work.
It's not the most crucial stream, because if it was the most crucial stream, then your email inbox would be the most crucial stream, because that all that is app mentions.
No,
And I think you need a mixture of both.
Email is a private signal. @mentions is a public signal. It has two different characteristics,
Okay.
which, making that decision, automatically filters it in a very powerful way that email never does. Email's dead. Have you heard?
Yep.
Podcasting, email. Robert, what are you doing?
This is my Twitter.
And what
I
are you
figured we
learning?
were talking about information overload. That's what information overload looks like.
Have you seen anything interesting since you've been holding that up there?
No, because not really. I'm watching.
All right. Well,
A lot of noise, man. But this is why I watch it. I watch the noise. That way, when I see something brilliant, it sort of stands out.
Well, that's actually you're part of the example of it, because you probably have multiple screens, multiple inputs for this, but you're able to easily tune out what is the noise and filter in and zoom in on what's important.
The
And
tweet I was just pointing at said, "God, Buffy is so fucking stupid." That's sort of. That's like the noisiest of the noise.
No,
It's
but
sort of
that's valuable. It immediately tells you something about the poster.
yeah.
You discovered it. It made it onto the Gillmor Gang.
Yeah. I think we're going to see next week, we're going to have a dolphin on, and we're going to show a dolphin trying to touch a MacBook Pro screen. It doesn't work because it's not an iPod or an iPad. All right, so I'm going to go around the table, which will take seconds instead of minutes, and say, what are you going to do between now and March 2nd to amuse yourself?
I'm going. I'm going to be watching Ted.
Ted?
It's next week, and I'm going to be
Ted Nelson?
Oh, you're going to be there.
No, not there. Otherwise, how would I go to the iPad launch on Wednesday if I was there?
Oh, you're going to be at the iPad launch.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I'm going to be at at USVP on Sand Hill Road watching Ted on a big screen.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to be doing that all weekend?
No, that starts Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
So what are you going to do all weekend while you're waiting for the iPad 2?
I'm going to play more with my Motorola Zoom, which will be relevant until Wednesday morning.
Can I have it then?
No,
I'll
because they
take
want it back. They want it back, unfortunately.
So what about Honeycomb? Is there anything that you like about Honeycomb?
Yeah, it's better multitasking. Notifications are nice. So it shows up on the bottom of the screen, when an email comes in or something. Other than that, it's nice and smooth, nice and fast, but no apps. Get me some apps.
Okay, Kevin, what are you going to do while you're waiting to not buy the iPad 2?
Oh, I think we'll just take the poodles to the beach again. That was fun this week.
But I mean, just brain food. What are you going to do
Oh, brain food.
as when your mind wanders back to the iPad 2? Shimmering.
I'm not
in the
bothered,
near
by the
distance.
iPad 2 particularly. I think I'm waiting for the one that has the high risk screen. This isn't going to be it.
I know you said that about the iPad 1, and
Yeah, and
The
I
market-
did buy it.
went that way.
I'm
you
saying
went
me.
that way, the market went that way.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Okay.
talking me. I'm not saying I'm the market. I know that I'm not.
So you don't care what people think.
I care what I care what some people think, but I don't necessarily. I'm not selling iPads.
How do you
I
identify those
don't work for
people?
Apple anymore.
How do you identify the people that you do care about what they think?
I follow them on Twitter. That's my signal. There you go. There's my list. It's a few thousand of them.
You have lists? Have you put together lists?
No, like
Scoble's
three
the
maybe.
only one who ever put
Scoble's
lists
Mr. List.
together. Yeah. Okay, John, what are you going to do?
Well, just to play along with you, Steve, I want to think of creative ways of breaking my iPad 1 from now until March 2nd so that I can get an iPad 2. Or figuring out ways of donating it to somebody who would want the older one.
Sell it on eBay this weekend, and that way you'll have some money.
It's already got a little crack in it, though. That's what I'm...
Yeah, I got a crack too.
yeah. So,
All right, so Oscar picks. Best Picture,
King's Speech.
Scoble.
I don't know. You think I actually see movies?
You have no idea?
I'll say Social Network just because.
Fair enough. John? You don't see movies either.
I've got 3 kids. I don't know. Yeah. And
If
one's
it's
a baby.
animated, you're in, right?
Not even that. Yeah, it's the animated. What do we see? Toy Story 3. Is that up for an Oscar?
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I
that'll
didn't
get
like it.
Best waste of time.
Best animated. Yeah,
Yeah.
wasn't that last year?
Yeah, I did see Social Network on DVD. I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a corrupt ball of well done movie. Aaron Sorkin is completely sold out.
Did you guys see that? Like every TV show had a Mark Zuckerberg character in last week. Was that just me? Noticing this? There was The Good Wife and Lie to Me and
A
NCIS?
Zuckerberg character. I
Yeah,
saw
you're right. Yeah.
Don't give away the Good Wife part. I haven't seen that one yet.
Okay,
That's a week old, dude. You're behind.
is this last week's? Yeah.
Oh, I saw last week's.
Yeah,
I
so
don't
what-
remember a Zuckerberg thing.
Yeah,
There
there
are
was a
10
geeky guy who was getting sued.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry.
It was very explicitly Zuckerberg, that one, and it was also a dig at Sorkin too. I quite enjoyed that one, but the nerd as serial killer meme was a bit boring in the others.
Well, although you're
Nikita was the other one, wasn't it?
although you're wrong about the iPad 2, you're right about the King's Speech. Great movie. It will win. I don't know
What's
about
that?
Best Picture, but it'll win.
It will win Best
for
Actor,
sure.
definitely.
Yeah.
Not sure about Best Picture. You're right.
A lot
Yeah.
of people say the Black Swan's pretty intense. Is that up for Oscar? I bet the actresses.
Yeah, that's
That's-
probably the actress.
Yeah, she'll win Best Actress.
But I'm talking about things I haven't seen. That hasn't stopped me
So
before.
what? Yeah, never stopped me. I don't know anything about any of this stuff. 244 comments. It's-
True Grit. I see somebody write True Grit. I think.
Yeah, I
that's-
agree. I agree,
Yeah.
Aaron. True Grit, I think, has got a
Haven't
good
seen that
shot.
yet.
It's
Should see that.
excellent, excellent film. But I think King's Speech will probably win. Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, this is Steve Gillmor, and this has been the Gillmor Gang. This turned out better than I thought. I want to thank Rackspace, and particularly Rob Legess, without which this show would not be available for the discerning average user that likes to click on pictures and have things happen, as opposed to going to the store and downloading. something. Rackspace, yes, as Scoble. You have some affiliation with them, don't you?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, and also New Tech and their fabulous TriCaster, without which this would not be on video. I emphasize the word video for those of you who are looking for an audio-only version. How about, like, I'm looking for an analogy here. That's what audio only sounds like.
Radio with pictures.
I want to thank John Taschek, Robert Scoble, and Kevin Marks. I want to thank our producer and director, Tina Chase Gillmor, and I want to thank everybody who showed up, and especially those who didn't, especially this time.
We'll all guess who it is.
No, you won't.
All right.
I mean, you can guess, but you'll be wrong.
Okay.
See you again next time. Bye-bye.